Yes.
Call the regular city council meeting Monday, June 3rd, 2013 to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Here.
Ferrari.
Here.
Waldorf.
Here.
Lukosius.
Here.
Perez.
Here.
Radke.
Here.
Mueller.
Here.
Sapienza.
Here.
Mayor Harrell.
Here. Pledge of allegiance. Any public comment cards?
No, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion to receive and approve the regular meeting minutes of May 20th, 2013 and place on file?
So moved, Your Honor. Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Waller, to receive the regular meeting minutes of May 20, 2013 and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Do we have a motion to receive the Treasurer's Report for April 2013, City Clerk's Report for April 2013, General Fund and Miscellaneous Funds Report for April 2013, Sales, Home Rule, and Telecommunication Tax Receipts for February 2013 and place on file?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Been a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Lukosius, to receive the reports and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. We'll move to committee. Accounts and Finance, Alderman Putoff, Alderman Radke.
Yes, Your Honor. Tonight to the City Council I present the total disbursements for June 5th of the year 2013. The disbursement totals include $860,327.77. I'll make a motion that these be received, placed on file, and the bills paid in the usual manner.
Second.
Have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke, to receive the disbursements, placed on file, and the bills paid in the usual manner. Is there any discussion? We'll have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Also, Council, I might make a note. You'll see throughout the disbursements we're keeping a running total on the amounts that the city, or did cost the city, for the flooding, the last flood that we had. With that total, we're hoping for reimbursement from the Emergency Management Agency and keeping track of that. I'm sure there will be more involved in that as you go through disbursements, but that's what our hope is. Another item, we do have a $1,000 donation for IVAR tonight. It is something that has been brought up in the past. We're making a formal approval. Interesting enough, IVAR does save money for the city of Peru because it is one service that the city certainly doesn't have to support. As they catch animals, our police department drops them off at IVAR. IVAR takes care of that aspect. So it is in the best interest of the city of Peru that IVAR continues to do well. And tonight I'll make a motion to give the $1,000 donation to the Illinois Valley Animal Rescue.
Second.
Have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke, for a $1,000 donation to the Illinois Valley Animal Rescue. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Also, Your Honor, we have a $250 donation to the Peru Rescue Station. Peru Rescue is another entity that the city does not take care of through tax dollars. It's certainly something that helps the rescue efforts community-wide and also in the city of Peru. So tonight I'd like to make a motion for a $250 donation to help Peru Rescue with their efforts.
Second.
Have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke, for a $250 donation to the Peru Rescue Station for their efforts during the April storm. Is there any discussion?
Your Honor, I'd just like to mention that the Peru Rescue Station was instrumental in the sandbagging of the East wastewater treatment plant that night. They used their boats and their manpower with no cost to the city, so I think this donation is appropriate.
Any further discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Another point of interest that the council or the finance committee has been discussing for some time is the lack of development in the Peru TIF 3. And really what we're disappointed in is that Prue has established TIF area the third TIF area in Prue, which is North Prue area. And it really is all the blighted properties north of Route 80. Those include a lot of hotels, abandoned gas stations, things of that nature. And I guess the most disappointing factor is that it has been held up with the lawsuit from the Dimock School District for some point in time. Actually, it's been under discussion for about 5 years. So what we'd like to do is to reach out to Dimock again and to say, what is it going to take to get this moving ahead? Because quite obviously, those points or those areas include no children to educate. I think we all have a feeling that tax dollars used for the education of children is a worthwhile process. But in this area, we really need to work towards development. The property values in the area continue to decline. It only makes common sense for us to work towards establishing some factors or some interest with the developers, and quite frankly, we can't do that with the lawsuit hanging over our heads. Is there anything, Mayor, that you've heard recently of any?
No, just still tied up in discovery for the last 2 years, 3 years.
And really, I think the entire community would be helped if we did have some action in that. You'd see some properties that would be redeveloped, and certainly that would help out in the long run the Dimock School District along with the economy of our community. So just one point that we continue to reach out, we continue to look for progress, and hope to see some in the future. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Public Works, Alderman Waldorf, Alderman Lukosius.
Yes, Your Honor. Tonight I have the electric financial report for April of 2013. And during this period, we showed revenues under expenditures by $231,726.59. I'd like to make a motion that we accept this report and place it on file.
Second, Your Honor.
I have a motion by Alderman Lukosius, second by Alderman Waldorf, to receive the electric financial report for April 2013, placed on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Secondly, tonight, Your Honor, we have the bid opening for the electric department transformer. And Clerk Bartley, will you do the honors?
The first bid is from Solomon Corp. The price is $422,770.
HD Supply and Utilities is no bid.
TNR Electric Supply, $394,150. WEG Electric, $499,098. Fletcher Reinhardt, $462,735. with an alternative quote of $462,735.
Power Line Supply, the Illinois division located in Taylorville, Illinois, $526,850.
Westco Distributing, $613,838.
AB&B Incorporated, T&D Products, the proposal's $513,200. Howard Industries, Universal Utility Supply Company, $579,535. Additional cost for bid price for a 5-year warranty is $21,500.
Graybar Electric, $515,463.92. Springfield Electric, $1,358,163.35. That's all. SRC looked to be a bid, but it was actually a bill from Starved Rock Communications. So sorry for the. We had enough other ones, though. I thought. Good turnout.
Yeah, it was a very good turnout. Well, the apparent low bidder, TNR Electric, at $394,150. I'd like to make a motion at this time that these bids be referred to Electric Supervisor Putoff for review and then submitted back to Public Works Committee to put that on the agenda for approval.
Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion from Alderman Lukosha, second by Alderman Waldorf, to receive the bid openings for Electric Department transformers. Send it to the Electric Department for review and recommendation. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
That's all for electric. Chuck, do you have anything on the airport? Okay.
Your Honor, I have the City of Peru Revenue and Expense Report as of April 30th, 2013. This report shows revenues over expenditures of $362,742.34. We'll make a motion to receive this report and place it on file.
Second, Your Honor.
Been a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Lukosius to receive the water financial report for April 2013 and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Next, Your Honor, I have the City of Peru water and wastewater treatment plants as of, report as of April 2013. At our water treatment plant, total water produced was 73.7 million gallons. At our wastewater treatment plants, our east plant treated 90.7 million gallons, and our west plant treated 37.3 million gallons. Again, I will make a motion to receive this report and place it on file.
Second.
Been a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Lukosius to receive the water wastewater treatment plant report and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Your Honor, we have had ongoing discussions and home visits with the water and sewer backups that were 5 weeks ago. Just a few reports. There will be smoke testing scheduled for the St. John's addition at some point shortly. We don't have an exact day for that, but it will be shortly. They did go up and clean sewers up in west and east, or just west? Just west of Marquette Road. Debo Drive, 25th Street, 26th Street, 27th, 28th, and 30th Street were cleaned, and that went very well. Again, the cleaning in St. John's will begin this week. We do not have a city sewer repair priority list set yet because we are waiting for word from the Illinois Emergency Management Agency to see what money is available, what money we can get to help with those projects. There will be citywide hydrant flushing June 9th to June 14th, so people are aware if there's a little rust in your water, that will be what it's from. And finally, I would like, we need to discuss and have a motion to approve a program in which the city participates with the residents regarding home sewer separation. We have talked at length, and we've come up with a program where we will give the residents, with a priority being given to the affected areas, half of the money that they spend, up to $3,000 to separate their sewers, by putting in a sewage ejection pit to eject the sewage up and into the sanitary, and to separate the footing tiles with a sump pump to get that up and into the storm rather than empty into our sanitary sewer. There are some parameters that I'd like to talk about. The first being provide a separate sanitary ejector to protect basements from gravity sewer backup. The second one is separate the footing tile, as I've said already, from the sanitary. The contractor has to be licensed in the city of Peru. Please save your receipts and submit them to Heidi Addis here at City Hall so that we can keep track of the amounts. Then as an after discussion, after quite a bit of discussion about the previous separation, some people wanted to put a check valve and then a manual shutoff valve in their house, and so if they're out of town, they can turn the manual valve off. And as long as the water is separated from our sanitary system, we will allow that into this program and pay half up to $3,000 also. Do you have anything to add to that?
Mike, can you use the mic?
There are a limited number of homes that it will be much more cost-effective for them to add the check valve and manual valve as opposed to cutting up a very finished, expensively finished basement. And so for those cases, we certainly, again, the number one priority was to provide protection for the basement living area so it would not get a backup through fixtures or floor drains. And so that is an alternate means to protect their basement, and it can be their choice. The second caveat is, of course, the footing tile water. We do need that separated from sanitary to not continue to contribute to the additional water in the system.
Besides this, rest assured that there will be work on the city's sewers. And again, to find out what IEMA has to offer us, we've already been obviously cleaning sewers and looking at manholes and following up on everything that we've talked about. So if anybody else has anything to add, I sure would appreciate the discussion and then hopefully make a motion.
Well, I'm very much in favor of helping people to do that. I think the only way we're going to solve the problem is to take water out of the system, water that shouldn't be there. And I guess what I would suggest is just to make sure people totally and completely at the front end understand what is expected of them. I think we should put together some type of a form or document, put it on the web page maybe or something to give to people that they don't do something expecting to get money and then find out that that's not something that we approve of, So I don't know if that can be done.
Didn't Heidi Heiser, wasn't she composing a letter that?
We're putting a letter together, and then the residents will need to check a box, A or B. Then you'll know whether they're complying with what we're asking for or not.
Is there a limit budget item? Meaning how much,
Maximum number?
yeah, what's the maximum number of households we can do the first
sorry.
year?
That's a very good question. It would be up to $3,000 for 100 homes.
I guess my question is more of a technical question for Mike. When you put in an injector pit, now the water has to go somewhere. The theory behind it is it goes down, shoots back up, so you're not getting that back. Now, if me as a individual decides to put this in my home, does that leave my neighbor more susceptible to flooding if they decide that they don't want it or they chose not to?
And we talked a little bit about this at the presentation 3 weeks ago, I guess it's been now. The ejector pit only pumps waste water from your basement facilities. So if you're using a toilet or laundry in the basement, whatever may occur in the basement, that's the only thing that injector is going to pump. And it's going to essentially pump it up to the first floor to gravity drain with the remainder of whatever other facilities you're using that produce wastewater. So that in of itself absolutely does not add any additional water. The only water that you're adding to the sanitary system during the peak of the event is what you happen to use. So if you use the basement or the upstairs bathroom, that water does go in. The question that many folks have asked is, will separating that sump pump water and putting it out to the storm sewer system, out to the surface, will that add to the amount of water that is perhaps going to other people's homes? And when you look at the magnitude of direct surface runoff versus the magnitude of water that people will pump to the surface from their groundwater system, from the footing tile, it's very, very minor. So in my opinion, it will not add to surface water flooding or flooding incident, or even the rate of infiltration is such that even that water will take hours, if not days, to get back into someone else's footing tile. So this system is how new subdivisions would be built, are built. It's the current standard, and they will not, neither of these solutions will add to someone else's particular problem, in my opinion.
So people who've had flooding in the basements, this program for eligibility would have to be sewage that backed up, correct?
Well, I think what we're saying is anyone in the footprint of the Marquette Road area that had the significant number, or the St. John's area, all of those backups essentially were from the sanitary sewer system because they came through the floor drain. If I have not seen a case yet where surface water came in over the window well and down into the basement. I haven't seen it in this particular event. I think that's happened in the past. But if that home was in the footprint of these affected areas and they simply are fearful for what the next larger storm could do from a sanitary backup, I think they are eligible to be in that first 100 homes. And I think when we've talked about it, you know, what many communities have done is limit the number of homes that they are able to reimburse per year. So I don't know if this is necessarily a one-year program or if it will be ongoing, that you will be able to fund further homes per year. So I know other communities have said if you don't get reimbursed this year because you've reached a cap of available funding, save your receipts and you can get reimbursement the following year. Is that correct?
That has been part of our discussion, yes.
I got a couple questions. Number one is we went smoking that Saturday. We made a list of all the infiltration spots. Did these people where the infiltration spots get letters yet? And if not, why?
I think I will let Public Works Director Bluck answer that question.
The people who had their gutters and everything that was infiltrating in, Frank Taylor, building inspector, has contacted every one of them, and we're sending a letter on top of that, and he is going to follow up on every one of those.
This has been almost 2 months, Gary, and we found this smoke almost probably a month ago, and we're just now sending letters. These should have been capped by now. Should have been done. And the infiltration in the one in the field, the two in the fields, we can't, I'm sorry, guys, we can't wait for FEMA to come forward with money to fix these problems. 25th Street is blocked, Sunset Drive is problems. We got to do it. We can't wait for FEMA.
We're cleaning the sewers.
Cleaning isn't, there's spots that, like the field, Tom. It's got to get in there. We got to fix it. 25th Street, you got to get down there with a jackhammer and jackhammer it out. You're not going to pressurize it out. We got to get in there and do Sunset Drive over there where it's sunk. We fixed that, correct? And how about where the pipe is? Did we fix that? I'm sorry. I'm all in favor of helping these people out, but we got to get off our butts and start doing something better.
This sounds like a great idea, but if I could at least take till next week, I don't know how anybody else feels about it, just to, this is really the first I've heard much detail on it. I'd like to talk to some of the constituents and look into this a little bit more and maybe get with Mike and get a little bit more information if we could, and be ready to do something next week if we could table it till then.
I would like to have this approved tonight. We've been talking about this for weeks. These people need help. These people need funding. There's people sitting in this room right now that want to move on this. They know what's going on. Mike Perry has talked with them. They know what's going on. We need to push this tonight.
I agree.
I won't table this.
Well, that's the thing. Have we met with the constituents, and this is something that they're all on board with?
Absolutely,
4 weeks
100%
and
yes.
weeks, yes.
Okay. Well, if you've got out to the constituents and it's something that they're in favor of, then, you know.
I will say that I think we got, 3 new forms in here in the last week, and so there are 3 people I know of that I have not spoken with. And actually, Alderman Radke mentioned one more tonight that is not on the list yet, so
And how
there's
many
actually
have you
4.
spoken with?
There's probably about 65 to 70 people now.
Okay. I'm good with that then.
To Alderman Ferrari's point, the only thing that I'll agree with is, I don't know, you had a report that you had given at one time. I'm not sure what the end result of that is going to be, but I'd like to see all the huge list of action items with when they were closed, maybe even before and after pictures, if we're gonna go to that level. I'm not sure if we wanna have expense again, but I mean, I do agree that we need to be moving, and I know that some work has been done, but I just wanna make sure that we don't lose any actions, and that we make sure that we close the loop.
We are doing our due diligence. We've discovered these problems. We're working towards the means to fixing them. It's a $4.5 million fix, and frankly, we don't have $4.5 million right now. We are going forward as we can, hoping to get some relief from IEMA and maybe even FEMA. But we are doing our due diligence. I'm sorry that you don't think so, but we certainly are. And engineering consultant can verify that. And at this point, I would like to make a motion.
One more thing is the tile that's on Plum Street in the yard there behind Lucas. I believe that was about ready to break. Have we done anything on that yet?
The one blockage was repaired within that first week. There is a second service connection, though, downstream that's actually behind, I believe, the Story home, and that is on the list of repairs that needs to occur, as soon as possible, basically, similar to manholes, so.
Gary, can we get that repaired? Can we put that up on the list?
Absolutely.
Very good.
Mike, I just need further assurance before I bid. Now, the sewage injection pit, I've asked you this before, will solve, you're 100% certain that it will solve all of the problems that we've encountered in the last two times?
All of the problems that I've seen during this last investigation, the separate ejector pit system to separate the basement from the gravity sewer, which is what's experiencing the backups, absolutely. The only way the sewage can get out of that system is if the pipe were to break, essentially, or if the system was not installed correctly. So as long as they separate everything in the basement to an ejector and then separate the storm water, the footing tile water, to a separate sump, I am absolutely positive that those homes will not experience a backup again.
99.9?
No, 100.
No.
I mean, the only potential failure for sewage getting out of a rigid piece of pipe is if the pipe were to break. So I can't guarantee you that somehow a pipe, I guess, couldn't burst, but it's not under pressure. It's a gravity drain pipe. So I've never seen a gravity drain pipe, fall apart by itself.
Thank you.
My whole point is that it could take a year to get this money. It could take 2 years. How do we know how long it's going to take to get this money? We got to move. That's all I'm asking. We got to move.
We're not waiting, we have not waited on any funding from anyone. We are keeping track of what we've spent in order to potentially be reimbursed. But we are not waiting to do any work on money from some government agency. And the only other question that I had is, you mentioned as long as it's installed correctly, it will be 100% effective. How are we going to verify or determine that it was installed correctly? Are we going to have to go into people's houses and inspect things when it's done, before we hand them a check?
That's a good question. I don't know if we'll do it through a plumbing inspection. I've certainly offered my services to homeowners who have received estimates from plumbers to come out and verify that what the plumber has suggested, recommended, is in compliance. I have not inspected any work because I really haven't seen any of them completed yet. So I think that's a good question. I don't know the answer, though.
I think if we're going to give people money, we have to make sure that what they do is exactly what they said they were going to do and what we agreed that they were going to do.
That's a good point.
And I think you could do that through your normal plumbing inspector. I don't know who does the new construction plumbing inspection, but he certainly would be more than qualified to verify that they have separated the basement from the gravity sewer.
Well, licensed plumber has to do it, right, Mike? Why don't you just have a certification from that plumber?
That was one of the requirements.
The homeowner has a certification done by a licensed plumber.
By a licensed plumber rather than the city.
I
Yeah.
think it needs to be inspected when it's complete. I just think people need to know that going into it, that if they're going to do work, we're not going to give cash unless it's done correctly. Because there's nothing it doesn't help us if it's not done correctly.
Well, and that
We
also
can only
does,
help each other. you know.
right, it does give the homeowner that, I guess, additional assurance too, that there's an independent inspector looking at the certified plumber's work, so it certainly is a win-win if you think about it.
I don't have any problem with that, to make sure it's right and get the fix as the fix should be.
Yes.
If there's no other discussion, I'll make the motion to approve the program in which the city participates with residents regarding home sewer separation.
I'll second that.
You putting a dollar amount on it, or you just,
3,000. Half up to 3,000 for 100 homes.
okay, approved program in which the city participates with residents regarding home sewer separation, 50% up to $3,000 city expense for 100 homes for this year.
Now, is this covering an area, Alderman?
3,000.
Marquette Road, right?
I didn't just say Marquette Road, Alderman.
Sure seems like there's a lot of unanswered questions.
Priority will be given to the affected areas, in the footprint of the affected areas. And after that, we'll look at everything.
The homeowner has to have it certified by, or plans submitted certified by a certified plumber, right? Right. The homeowner's responsibility will be to do that. Okay.
The plans need to be submitted on what the plumber is proposing to do, and then a final bill on what was done before there'll be any city involvement. So we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Mike, I was holding this one last one for the end, but we were talking about smoke testing on St. John's. Did we ever finish the Marquette area? There were a few areas up Marquette that we did not finish. We scheduled that yet?
We have not scheduled either one of those. We had the holiday weekend, and then I think we had a rain weekend, but we need to do everything essentially east of Marquette. So there's still quite a bit to do there, and there's actually other areas that are of concern outside of the footprint of these affected areas that are also on the list. So I don't know that we'll necessarily need an army to look at all of them, but we certainly do have a great benefit of having a Saturday with additional eyeballs looking for the smoke.
Anything further from Public Works?
No, sir.
Public Health and Safety, Alderman Ferrari, Alderman Sapienza.
Your Honor, I'd like to submit the report for the Peru Fire Department. We received and responded to a total of 19 fire calls for this pay period. There were also 2 monthly trainings included in this report. The pay for a total payroll ending May 25th of $4,726.13. I'd like to make a motion to accept the report and place it on file.
Second, Your Honor.
Been a motion by Alderman Sapienza, second by Alderman Ferrari to receive the Peru Fire Department report for a period ending May 25th, 2013, and place on file. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Moving on under police, I'd like to have Clerk Bartley put up an agenda for May 12th at 6:30, Public Health and Safety meeting, and on it we're going to discuss Concert for a Cause, and believe it or not, Halloween. Next Wednesday, 6:30. Chief Pishka, you got anything you want to add? Anything else, Alderman Sapienza?
No, that's all.
That's all I have.
Nothing else in health and safety? Public property, Alderman Perez, Alderman Mueller.
Yes, Your Honor. We have no report at this time. However, we'd like to schedule a meeting for next Wednesday at 6:30, which would be June 12th. I have nothing further. Alderman, you have anything else? Becky?
No, I think we're on unfinished business.
Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Report City Attorney, ordinances, resolutions.
Yes, we have an ordinance authorizing execution of a first rider to the scavenger contract with Illinois Valley Waste Services. And this will provide for the pickup of yard waste. Buter Dan, Mayor, on behalf of the city, is hereby authorized and directed to execute, and the city clerk, on behalf of the city, is hereby authorized and directed to attest the first rider, scavenger, and recyclable collection contract by and between the city and the contractor, which first rider is attached here too, and that provides that this will be for the period June 24, 2013, with a pickup that day, to November 25, 2013, with also a pickup on that Monday. So it's that period both conclusive. So that'd be 23 pickups during that period of yard waste by the contractor at a total cost of $22,292.30.
Your Honor, I'd like to request additional information. I just have a few questions before we make a motion, if we could.
I'm not in favor of tabling this either. We've been going.
I'm not
on and on
tabling
on
it.
this.
I'm just asking. I have some questions I'd like to ask before motions are on the floor.
Ask
Well, go ahead.
Okay. Actually, there's been some extra discovery since the May 13th motion to approve this, and over a 6-month period, if it was a year that we were just starting out, it'd come out to about $25,000. And there was some question whether or not this falls underneath the solid waste state exemption, and if this should have been sent out for bid. That's one of the questions that I have.
It's an amendment to the contract, and it can be approved by a 2/3 vote.
If it was over $20,000, if it needed to go out for bid.
Yeah, but any contract, if it's approved by a supermajority.
Yeah, 2/3, which is 6.
According to the May 13th meeting minutes, they estimated about $60,000 that it cost the city for the landfill and to transport everything down there. And I was just wondering how that figure was, how we came up with that $60,000 that the city spends for that process.
That $60,000 was the cost to remove the compost. That was not the cost, the yearly cost.
Well, that's what it said in the minutes. That's what I had read out of the minutes there. What does it cost the city currently that when we do the yard pickup every year for the waste? What's the city spending on that?
Well, we have what? Probably 5 employees wrapped up, 2 trucks wrapped up that could be doing other things, and the cost of the compost, which adds up every year. Everything you bring in, at some point in time, you have to take it out. And like Alderman Radke said, the last go around was at $60,000. That happens every 6 to 8 years, so it's roughly $10,000 a year, $8,000 to $10,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. $1 a home, and they estimate it as 4,200 residential pickups. Not looking at the bags that they're picked up, but they estimate it as 4,200 residential pickups, which canvassing the areas, there's no way that there's 4,200 pickups, residential pickups. Maybe somebody's putting out more bags than the next, but to charge 4,200 homes doesn't seem right. It seems like there's another way to a better way to do this that's going to be more fiscally responsible, because it's going to come out to about just under, or $25,000 to just under $30,000 to do this on a yearly basis. If we're looking at $1 per home at 4,200 homes, that's a lot of money.
Well, the committee discussed the 4,200 homes, and they wanted to make sure that the program wasn't difficult for the residents to take advantage of, because there was some early discussion of subscription and how that would be managed, what homeowners would call, so that we could sort of set up a program where we only got charged for the exact homes that were picked up. For starters, we're still going to get the revenue from the bags that we're picking up, just as we have with the city picking them up. So we do have some recouping of cost at that point.
But it seems like that solution that you're talking about with going out and doing a subscription would be a lot more feasible for the city, because if there's only, and I have no idea, do we have any idea, Gary, how many bags are picked up, how many residents each week?
We do have that statistic, because we sell the bags out of the clerk's office, both directly to residents at the clerk's office and to other retailers. So the waste haulers, when we were originally talking about this early on in the process, they have a pretty good idea of what the cost is. And if you break the numbers down, it's just about $970 a week to pay a subcontractor to cover the whole city. If every resident put out one bag, it costs the city about $970 a week. It doesn't seem like a significant amount of money based on the work involved.
The cost savings was also based on the number of employees that we have currently. It was estimated to be between 4 and 5, the amounts of mileage that the truck does, the gas involved with that. It makes it much more feasible to have us contract out this service as opposed to us doing it ourselves. And I think the logical question from people would be is, what are those people going to be doing? Well, the idea from the mayor and public works superintendent was those people who had been picking up bags before or have been designated to do that will be doing other areas of the city, like busting up concrete to pour our own sidewalks, things of that nature that we certainly can save cost on in the future for that too.
Or potentially making sewer repairs to the areas of town that are in desperate need of additional labor for sewer repairs.
I have nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
I don't have a motion.
A motion that the ordinance be accepted as written and read.
Second.
I have a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Lukosius, to approve the ordinance as written and read. Is there any further discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Nay.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapiens.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Your Honor, we also have an ordinance tonight fixing wages for the city of Peru employees. This includes the non-bargaining units, for example, the city clerk's office and the other employees involved in the city that are not members of bargaining units. The ordinance includes a 2% wage increase. It will also move the employees' health insurance premiums from 10 to 15%. The employees will pay for health insurance. Also, it includes no longevity to new hires, and the areas are basically the same as we've had in previous as far as benefits. So I'd like to make a motion. Do you have that ordinance? I'll make that motion tonight to approve the ordinance fixing the wages for the employees for the city of Peru.
Second that.
I have a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Radke, to approve the ordinance fixing wages for the employees of the city of Peru. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapiens.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Okay, unfinished business. Do you have any unfinished business?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to discuss the landscaping and proposals that we had discussed during the last meeting. Just to give everyone a recap a little bit of what we discussed last week. We had a public property meeting prior to our last council meeting. We had discussed landscaping proposals. At that time, we only had one revised landscaping proposal come in, which was from Specialty Landscape for $15,575. At that time, during our committee meeting, I expressed concerns in regards to that estimate, and I presented a Plan B to the committee regarding the hiring of 2 summer workers, which would have been familiar with gardening, and that's when we would have teamed up with them, and I explained that during last week's meeting. We presented that. Our committee agreed to that, so we came to council and we had discussion regarding that, and it was left at adjournment that we would speak with Superintendent Bleck regarding hiring of 2 summer helpers with gardening experience. So we left that as unfinished business, and we are here today with that. With the current plan, discussing that, I received, and I believe Alderman Mueller had met with Mr. Bleck, and he had sent me some correspondence regarding his input on hiring 2 summer helpers. With that, since then, after that meeting, that next morning, it was approximately 9:30 in the morning, a different company was out landscaping the city of Peru, the parks. And that was a company that never submitted a proposal to do the parks. And if the council that evening of our last meeting, if they would have asked that, or if they were adamant about not going forward with hiring summer helpers, I would have put on tonight's agenda to have to vote on specialty landscape at $15,575 to do the city landscaping, but we left it as unfinished business and carried on. So with that said, don't know what happened. It was probably not even 10 hours later is when another service came in and started doing the landscaping. But last week, I had another landscaper contact me and tell me that he was in contact with the city and he was able to give a proposal for landscaping. And this was last Tuesday, I believe he went around giving, measuring all the parks and measuring City Hall and trying to figure out an estimate for the city. And come to find that that same service that was hired through the city, I don't know by who or how that happened, but they were doing City Hall, which that gentleman from that other service was giving an estimate for. So I don't know how this all played out, but I think it was wrong. This was unfinished business for especially a company like Specialty Landscape, who was the only, he's the only one that proposed a revised bid, and for us to go out and hire a different company that never supplied the city with a revised bid to give them the job, I think was wrong. And I'd like to find out what happened there, because there's been no further discussion since then.
Alderman, I think the only discussion in regards to these 2 part-time helpers was, I'm looking at the minutes from the last meeting, and it says, Superintendent Bleck stated that the issue deserves more research and the supervision necessary. So the bid from Specialty never was discussed. The only discussion was option B, which was the part-time workers. So
right.
the 3 proposals that we now have were never discussed. It was the first meeting was a discussion of volunteers doing the work. The second meeting was a discussion of hiring staff. So the proposals never even really came into play.
Where you're speaking of 3 proposals, where did they come from?
We had the one at our very first meeting, which was the 8th of May.
Yes, that was Specialty Landscape, and that was the PGH, Peru Greenhouse.
PGH, we had the bid. Specialty had withdrawn their bid because they were having personnel issues.
Right.
Then my understanding is that you contacted Specialty, asked them to rebid the landscaping.
Okay. Let me clarify how that played out.
Okay.
At our committee meeting, we were in agreement that we were going to go first. So that was something that we agreed on. We had came to this council meeting, and we had there was really no discussion, no reason to discuss Specialty Landscape at that time, because we were taking work away from those original bids, those estimates. So they would have had to have revised their estimates, because everything that the estimates that we had at that committee meeting included a lot of the work that we were going to be doing through the volunteer group. So
okay.
we were
my understanding.
I'm not done yet, please. So at that time, we needed to get some revised estimates. So when we came to the council meeting, once I realized that I realized that we were going to be meeting with Mr. Bleck again to discuss landscaping, I didn't bring up specialty as putting them on the agenda for this week for their revised estimate, because that's what we were seeking. After our last meeting, I saw Specialty Landscape and I asked them to give their revised estimate. Also, the Peru Greenhouse, I had seen her, or I mentioned to her that we would be looking for revised estimates. So the only company that gave a revised estimate.
You would be looking for revised estimates. Did we ask her for a revised estimate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And taking out what? Because
taking out the work that we did, the downtown baskets, the downtown planters, and Water Street, along with the Peru Police Department and Fire Department.
Okay. The hanging baskets were never in any of the proposals.
Yes, they were. I've got them right here.
Okay, here, the bottom line is, it's June 3rd, we had to move on. You and your volunteers are doing a wonderful job. I saw them at the police station on Saturday. They're doing a wonderful job. It's beautiful, and we all applaud what they're doing. But we can't just stop and let the city go to weeds while we're waiting to discuss this. We're well within the parameters of the Public Works. We're well within the parameters of working around our building. This building that we're sitting in was looking very, very bad.
This was over $5,000, Your Honor. It was supposed to be approved by committee. Any spending over $5,000 is supposed to be approved by committee, and it was not.
Do you have an invoice that says this building was more than $5,000?
No, but what do you mean? They did Washington Park. They've done, I believe, Veterans Park. They've done City Hall.
I'll revise the timeline. Superintendent Bleck, which I've communicated before, contracted with Peru Greenhouse to do 4 parks prior to Memorial Day.
Prior to Memorial Day?
Prior to Memorial Day.
But we had the estimates. That was dated after.
No,
Yes, I've got the estimates right here.
I contacted Peru Greenhouse. It was getting pretty late in the season. Memorial Day was around the corner. I knew I had to get Veterans, Washington, Centennial, and Baker done because of the Memorial Day weekend, and that's what I contracted with.
So let me ask you this: everything that needs to be done, is it going to come out over $5,000? Yes, it is, because this was a project. Yes, it is. This is a project that's going to be over $5,000, and that's why they gave estimates for it.
If we held off for everything that's $5,000, you'd last about 7 minutes during the day. With the amount of money that's spent, it was Washington Park, it was Veterans Park, it was different places. We can't. We're spending money over the city more than $5,000 every day.
That's how we get around the system. We will nickel and dime each invoice until we are over what we're supposed to be having ordinances for. So it's going to be $300 here, $500 there. I'll continue watching the disbursements, and I assure you that by the time this is over with, we're going to be over $15,000.
Okay.
I've seen some bizarre things in the last 2 years on the city floor, and I can't believe we're at the point of arguing over flowers. Are we anywhere near a recommendation to do something to move forward? That's what I want to hear about. Are we anywhere close to that?
Well, I haven't heard it yet tonight.
Once again, where are we at with the city of Peru, the landscaping?
That's what I'm asking.
And they bypassed our committee, though.
Is your committee anywhere close to a recommendation?
No, because they took direct action and took it from our committee.
Then why not
okay, then we'll take it to the floor.
Then why don't you have a discussion on June 12th at 6:30 and bring something back here? I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish with this rant about flowers. I don't get it.
It's landscaping throughout the city. They asked for estimates. It wasn't my committee that did it. It was I guess the mayor and
it was handed to your committee. There was 2 and 1 had dropped out. It was handed to your committee, and then you brought up the money aspect. Your committee would have never had it in your hands to bring it to the floor and vote on it if the money wouldn't have been approved. The money was approved. That wasn't what you were to be talking about, whether you were going to approve it or not. And that was 4 weeks ago. Then we came into Memorial Day, we came into Mother's Day.
What was the sense of getting the estimates, Your Honor?
So that we could move forward and free up our people. But now it's being bogged down. So in the meantime, we have to move on. We have parks, we have areas that are full of weeds. You can't,
So who are you giving the job to?
right now, there's a contractor that's working around here. I don't know if they're finished here, and there's one working at
Well, what
other
about
places.
the other contractors that are trying to give estimates? I mean, this is gonna be well over, I have two estimates over $15,000.
Like I
And
said,
we
there,
bypassed this whole process, we are nickel and diming each invoice in each area and having them turn in separate invoices, which is gonna come well over to $15,000.
you never brought anything to the floor for the council to vote on. Bottom line.
I've had nothing to vote on, just for the fact that they've been both tarnished. Both estimates that I have are tarnished because they gave estimates for parks and for areas that Superintendent Black had a company do already.
The proposals always had a Plan B.
Can you show me that Plan B, please?
Sure. The first proposal, we were looking at the proposals, and you said, I have a proposal for the volunteers for the beautification of Peru. And then we went and we allowed that, and we followed through with that. And we will get a progress report at our meeting next Monday
Okay.
on how the volunteers are doing.
We're not looking at the volunteers,
Okay.
though. We're looking at the areas, because we're only doing a fraction of what needs to be done within the city.
Correct. Who's going to do the rest of it?
That's what I'm trying to find out now, who's going to do the rest of it, because the companies that gave estimates for areas that are currently being done, that were being
So we
bid on.
line item those out of the proposals.
That's what we've been trying to do. And that's what another company did last week, and when they gave an estimate for City Hall last Tuesday, part of their estimate, we hired another company to come in and do City Hall. So now their estimate's no good.
Then the remainder needs to go back to us, and we will bring a proposal and
That's why
a
they're-
motion to the council.
Exactly. That's why there cannot be direct action. We need to handle it.
We're not gonna sit and wait. We're going to proceed with the parks that we need to work on. We're not gonna sit and wait. Once we have it on the floor, then we'll go with whatever's on the floor and what's voted on.
How do we come up with an estimate, though, Your Honor, when we continue having different parks that are being done on a regular basis?
We're not gonna...
If we have a landscaper come in and give us the estimates on different areas that we need done, but then we have another company come in and do those areas, how are they going to give us an exact estimate or proposal?
Bring us something next Wednesday, the 12th, as a committee. If the committee does not agree on it, we'll take it to the council, and we'll make a motion, and we'll vote on it.
Are there any estimates waiting out there to be looked at?
Well, as I told you, when you threw that number out at the last meeting, which I asked you not to, I had the greenhouse the next day. And then last week, I got another estimate that came in. So, but yeah, all we have to do is just readjust. But when you threw that number out, that kind of threw everything off.
Superintendent Black, that was the only estimate that we had. At $15,000, at that $15,000, there was no, it didn't matter. We were going to be moving forward with them if the volunteer group wasn't approved by the council. That was the only estimate we received, was that one. So giving that number is just like when we have any other estimates up here or proposals. If there's only one bid, we throw that number out there. We did it with, don't we do that with the street?
Okay, once again, June 12th, your committee can talk about it and bring something to the council.
I think it's a disservice when you, last meeting you spewed out a number of 15,000. What happens is everybody will see that number of 15,000, come in and of course adjust their bids appropriately. So it's unfair. It's unfair to compare that proposal because you've already brought out the price.
You don't understand.
What the idea behind it is to, yeah, I guess nobody understands it, but what the idea is to revise that with those bids taken out, meet with the superintendent, work with him, come back with some other estimates. The Finance Committee discussed the hiring of the position when the horticulturist left, and we felt that it was in the best interest of the city not to rehire that position and to move ahead with contract labor. We felt that it would be, hopefully in the future, we would be able to save some costs with it, and I think we will. But, you know, when you place a number out there that everybody can see, and then you welcome other bids, and the process isn't
Okay,
fair.
well, let me clarify that then. We had a bid for $15,500 from only one service, okay? If the reason why he was the only one is because if I threw that number out there, after that, that reduced, if there was 10 areas that they proposed, they only ended up having 8 because they had to revise it. I mean, that number wasn't going to tarnish anything because they had to give another revision, another revised estimate after our committee meeting. So, I mean, I didn't throw a number out there that nobody else was going to be able to steal off of because they were the only one that gave a bid at the time. So, nothing further. Thank you.
Okay, new business.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I have some other unfinished business.
What are we going to talk about?
On a lighter note,
What kind of flowers?
the city will be conducting our electronics recycling event this Saturday, June 8th. It's going to be from 9 to 1. It's here in the municipal building parking lot. Residents of Peru, surrounding communities, businesses, schools are welcome to participate, and we take just about every sort of electronic device that you can think of. There are a couple of exceptions. I think they don't like VHS tapes anymore, but they take microwaves, televisions, computers, and all the stuff like that. So that's from 9 until 1. Also, on an even lighter note, June 15th is the Friends of the Peru Pool Fun Fair, which will be held at Centennial Park. I'd like to encourage everyone to participate, come out and have a great day at the park, and that is from, I think it's from 10 to 2. 10 to 3.
But adding on to that, the firemen are going to continue on, I think, till like 4 o'clock with their water fights for a fundraiser for Gary Eccles. So let's include that too.
Sounds great. I don't have any further unfinished business, Your Honor.
Okay, under new business, I'm asking for a motion for the reappointment of Doug Swigert as corporate counsel.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Alderman Radke, second by Alderman Waldorf for the reappointment of Doug Swigert as corporate counsel. Do we have any discussion? Have a roll call vote. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Perez.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Sapien.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Is there any other new business? Any proclamations?
No, Your Honor.
Petitions, communication. Looks like you have quite a few.
Yes, Your Honor. First one, communication from Robert Powell of the Life Church requesting permission to use Centennial Park on Friday, June 28th for an outdoor family movie. I believe he's already contacted the PD to make sure that that is available.
I'll make a motion that we allow that.
Second, Your Honor.
Motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Putoff to receive the communication from Robert Powell of Life Church requesting permission to use Centennial Park on Friday, June 28th for an outdoor family movie. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Next, we have a communication from Michelle Galletta of the Starved Rock Runners Club requesting permission to hold the annual Kids Running Clinic at Baker Lake beginning June 17th through August 12th from 6 to 7 p.m. And that's once a week, and this will be the 3rd or 4th year that they've done it. That's a great program.
I'll make a motion with grant permission pending that it's available.
Second.
A motion by Alderman Ferrari, second by Alderman Mueller, to receive the communication from Michelle Galletta of the Starved Rock Runners Club requesting permission to hold the annual Kids Running Clinic at Baker Lake beginning June 17th through August 12th, once a week, from 6 p.m. till 7 p.m. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Next, we have a communication from LP High School requesting permission to use Baker Lake on Tuesday, September 3rd for a cross-country invitational. Last year we had 2 or 3 of these out there at Baker Lake. It's not a track meet. It's a cross-country, and they went pretty well last time.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Been a motion by Alderman Putoff, second by Alderman Ferrari, to receive the communication from LP requesting permission to use Baker Lake on Tuesday, September 3rd for a cross-country invitational. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Next, we have a communication from Nicole Piano requesting permission to hold a kids band at John's Place from 3 to 5 p.m. on, I don't have the exact date here. This Saturday, your tickets for the show already, apparently.
It's private property. Do we need to grant permission?
Well, it is private property, but I asked her to go ahead and request permission and contact the neighbors. And
Clerk Bartley, is this outdoors?
it's outdoors. It's outside.
What time? 3 to 5 p.m.
3 to 5 p.m. It's teenagers, and she consulted the businesses in the area. She had not spoke to the Zukowski law offices, but she talked to the barber shops and everybody else that's in the perimeter there seemed in favor.
You may want to contact the church services because churches at 4 o'clock on Saturday.
Oh, at
I don't know if that will be a conflict, but from a noise standpoint, it may be.
Well, I think that's something they need to worry about.
Well, if it's no problem for the church, I'll make a recommendation that we let them go ahead.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion from Alderman Wallach, second by Alderman Lukosius to receive the communication from Nicole Piano requesting permission to hold a kids band at John's Place from 3 till 5. They need to know that if it is too loud during the afternoon church service, that they're going to need to, and obey, that to turn it down. Otherwise, Deputy Chief Pishka will be there. Okay. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
And the last communication is from Clinton Lyon requesting permission to use Baker Lake on June 15th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a wedding ceremony. You're going to use the dock.
That's 5 hours to get married.
That's a lot of love.
Are they going to have the reception there, or do you know, or do you know what?
No. It says, I'm a returning service member to the area looking to get married on the 15th of June. I would like to have a ceremony at Baker Lake on the dock. I would like to reserve the area from about 11 a.m. to about 4 p.m. on this date.
I'm all for love. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Have a motion by Alderman Waldorf, second by Alderman Mueller, to receive the communication from Clinton Lyon requesting permission to use Baker Lake on June 15th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a wedding ceremony. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. There is no conflicting date.
They've already checked.
Okay. Any further petitions,
No, Your Honor.
communications? Public comment. Do we have any public comment?
There we go.
My name is Mike Hart. The question I have is, what is the engineer's estimate on this transformer, since there's approximately $1 million from the low to the high bid? What was the engineer's estimate on that transformer bid? Do you have any idea what the approximate cost is, since you've probably had these before? I mean, there's $1 million difference. I know the one guy is partially out, but from the low bid to the next approximate high is about $220,000.
Right, I had got, several months back, approximate cost was anywhere from $400 to $550.
Any other public comment? Dick, could you come up and talk in the microphone so it's recorded, please?
hearing aid batteries, so they're conflicting with everything else. What I'm asking is a question in regards to the sketch that Mike Perry is supposed to get for those people who have been affected by the floodwaters. When will that be available? Yeah, they were mentioning the sketch here that you were going to make that would tell every homeowner what they had to put in.
They're available. Oh,
The
specs.
specs.
Okay.
I guess what the alderman had asked during the meeting is if we could put together some exact criteria, specifications. So that is not available yet, but we are working on
Okay.
that, so.
But then again, that holds us up further and further.
I can,
What we're wondering is when can we get started?
I can have those tomorrow morning over to the clerk's office by, give me till 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Sound good? That was too fast.
Any other public comment? We have a motion for adjournment.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
Any motion by Alderman LaCocha, second by Alderman Ferrari for adjournment. All in favor signify by aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried.